welcome to Witness. I'm Raghi Omar. In Yemen, it's difficult to know just how many wars are raging across the country at any one time. For centuries, the country has been plagued by revenge killings and tribal conflicts, some of which may only involve one village against another. The result is over 100 dead Yemenis each year, with many more injured. These localized wars can last for decades and have been described by one government minister as the most serious issue facing the country today. In a country with an average 3 guns per person, disagreements can quickly escalate into murder and war. One man, Sheikh Abdul al-Marwani, has made it his mission to bring peace to his troubled nation. He's uniquely placed to bring hostile factions together because as a young man, he himself was attracted to the path of violence. Mike Healy's film, The Peacemaker, follows the Sheikh as he prepares to put himself in the firing line between warring tribes. It's risky work. 15 negotiators from his organization, Dar al-Salam, meaning House of Peace, have already been killed at the hands of uncompromising tribesmen. He's had to overcome hostility and distrust, but has managed to persuade the authorities to start enforcing gun-free zones through his work as the Peacemaker.
A death in Yemen. The leader of one tribe killed in a car crash by a member of another tribe. An accident. But tribal wars in this male-dominated country have started for much less. Hundreds of well-armed tribesmen turn out for the funeral. They're anxious, and they don't want war. So they've called for the help of a man with a reputation as a peacemaker, Sheikh Abdul al-Marwani. It's one of the traditional roles of sheikhs, but Sheikh al-Marwani has made it his life's work. Whether there's peace or war after today may depend on what he says to them. Whole communities have been decimated by such conflicts. If a tribe goes to war, every member is obliged to take part. Many pay with their lives. In 1997, Sheikh al-Marwani was desperate to bring peace to his troubled nation. So he founded his organization, Dar al-Salam, which means House of Peace, to help deal with situations just like this. It's not a job he takes lightly. So far, 15 of his colleagues have been killed in the crossfire as negotiations turned sour.
طبيعي لأنه يعني النزاعات هي نزاعات مسلحة وأقل خلاف يؤدي للموت يعني.
Dar al-Salam now has thousands of members, and with Sheikh al-Marwani at its head, has become well known throughout the country. When the Sheikh talks, people listen. He's well aware that traditionally it's the tribes that have held power in Yemen, and even now the government, not strong enough to control them, has to accommodate them. The capital, Sana'a, isn't far away, but already this is tribal country. Sheikh al-Marwani's organization has become an informal bridge between the government and the tribes. It receives government money to top up funding from private donors and the international community. The Sheikh's own experience of tribal conflict dates back to his childhood.
حينما كان عمري 12 سنة وخلال خلاف حاصل قذفت قنبلة فأصبت. كبرت.
Ever since, al-Marwani has studied from a wide source of books and scholars to help him in his mission. But initially, he was drawn to another approach.
كان هناك مؤلفات تدعو كنت أقرأ أفكار متعلقة بالتطرف متعلقة بالعنف وكان عندي قناعة بأن الموت موت الآخرين سبيل لإحياء الدين سبيل يعني لوجود نشر لهذا الجيم لكن بالنهاية أدركت بأنه السلام هو الرسالة الأقرب لله والأدنى رحمته والأقدر مغفرته ورضوانه. دائما مؤمل فيهم خير على أساس أنه القضية الحاصلة فيما بينهم بين أصحاب الحيمة يحصل فيها صلح وإحنا بنحاول نوجد قناعات شعبية لدى المشايخ والأفراد بأهمية اللجوء للحل السلمي وهو لهم أعضاء القبيلة. والأمر إذا القبائل اقتنعوا سهل نقنع المشايخ.
While the Sheikh wants to discuss Yemen's problems, the locals have other ideas.
طبعا بدنا نجير السلام ونمنع كل حاجة خلينا نجاهد في فلسطين وبس.
انا حقول لكم زي ما الفلسطيني دمه غالي، اليمني دمه غالي. ايوه انتوا عدوك معروف، لكن هذا لو ما اقتل اخوه هذا مصيبه. انتم اليوم ماشي
يعني عمر دار الله يرحمه. ارفعوا راس القبيله، ابشروا شدهم، ارفعوا راس القبيله وتموا على حكم، ويجي القطب هذا هو المقوته ومعه ويجي يطرح الاحكام لكم. ما قلتوه.
With the village elder firmly behind al-Marwani, the threat of war ends, and within minutes, the crowds have dispersed.
أهل النجيس حتى قابلوهم بالعفو الشامل عن كل شيء، وحتى رجعوا ما جابوهم، يعني رجعوا حتى الثور الذي أتوا به.
واستضافوا الناس.
واستضافوهم
على حسابهم.
على حسابهم.
هذا هو شيخ. شباب.
يا عمي. اوكي.
صورك قبل ثورة.
هذا من الذي
عفوا.
هذا أخوه ولا
أخوه. هذا لا سهل. احنا نعتبر ان هذه يعني فوق السهل، يعني انها اسهل من السهل.
احسن من السهل. يا الله. لا يسترد. Very good.
Back at the office, Sheikh al-Marwani updates some of the group's members, including his father.
أرحب بكم أجمل ترحيب، وأقول لكم أنكم لن تجدوا بالفعل موقف هو أقرب لله أو أدنى رحمته أو أقدر مغفرته ورضوانه مما نقوم به بسد السلام.
The Sheikh, a former lawyer, shows the members some of the tribal agreements recently concluded by his organization. Even the most complicated cases are resolved relatively quickly, an advantage over the long, drawn-out alternative of going through the courts. Although he doesn't actively take part in negotiations, the Sheikh's father often drops by to offer his son moral support.
ولد عبد الرحمن في طفولته كان رجل يعني عاقل وعاد عمره في 4 سنوات، وبعدين يا سيدي بعد 4 سنوات 5 سنوات كان يخرج مع الأطفال ويتشاقبوا هناك يتضاربوا، وهو الذي كان يسطع لهم يعني يصلح بينهم، وكان يتعرض لجنايات من الجهة الثانية من الأطفال الثاني بالضربة هكذا، ما كان يجي لي لو قدوا دمها من راسه من هنا معه، قال بيتقاتلوا بيت الجهل البني فلان وأنا بيتصلح بينهم، ولما ندي يعني قال الجهة الثانية الذي بيت أقبض الدولة والثاني بيشوا يكونوا منهم بالضرب، وحصل في راسي وفي كذا.
During one negotiation, al-Marwani's colleague was fatally wounded by a hostile tribesman. The colleague's son has now taken on his role.
أطلق عليه النار، وكان والدي الله يرحمه بجواره ابن عمه، كان معه ابن عمه، أخذ آلي يشتي يرمي ذي الجاني، الله يرحمه الوالد منعه، قال له لا احنا جينا نصلح ما جينا نقاتل. طبعا في بعض المواقف طبعا تجي مثل المخاطر، ناس متمشكلين مسلحين يحدث بينهم كلام ذا، فطبعا تتطور المشاكل الى ان يحدث بينهم اطلاق النار، يعني واحنا نحاول تلاشي هذه الاشياء ان شاء الله.
احيانا لا استطيع ان انام، واحيانا اشعر بان راسي سينفجر بالفعل يعني، واتمنى لو اني انا وحدي اروح من هذا الكون ويبقى الناس كلهم بسلام.
Sheikh al-Marwani has another mission. A tribal war has been raging for over 25 years between 2 villages a few hours south of Sana'a. A teenager from one of these villages recently approached the Sheikh, begging him to help stop the fighting that has already claimed the lives of his father and other relatives. Al-Marwani has helped the teenager out of his village and into university in the capital. But even here, the new student fears that he'll be killed by his village's enemies. He needs to keep his identity hidden.
يقومون الأبناء كامل يقومون بعد الأبناء يقومون بعد الآباء، متحمسون للمشاكل، متحمسون لأنه قتل آبائهم وأخوانهم يعني يقومون متحمسون، فلذلك يكونون في خطر طبعا. لكن ما في ذنبنا شيء، ما في ذنبنا حاجة نعمله. إحنا لا فعلنا مشاكل، الآباء فعلوها وإحنا نتحملها بعدهم، هم فعلوها واستمروا فيها وإحنا.
Fighting this very local war has become such a destructive way of life that the villagers have been forced to agree on temporary respites from the murder in order to farm their fields and continue some sort of village life. They now fight in 5-month cycles, 5 of conflict and 5 of peace. The latest war season has now begun, just as Sheikh al-Marwani prepares to visit the war zone.
اولا انا كثير اقرا الكتب النفسيه التي تعرف، فانا اعرف استطيع ان انا اعرف عقليه الشخص اللي اتخاطب معه، وبالتالي انطلق من انطلاقه. ثانيا وهو الاهم، حينما اتحدث مع الناس لا اشعرهم بانني اذكى منهم ولا ارحب منهم ولا اعقل منهم، اننا سوا ونحن معا يمكن نصل الى حلها.
في حاله واحده اذا كان القتل متساوي، قلت لك على ما قلت لك، إذا استطاع بثقافته أنه يقنعهم في حالة واحدة إذا كان القتل متساوي والله ساوي.
After the break, the impact of Sheikh al-Marwani's peacemaking on his family life. Join me in a few moments.